Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to another episode of my weekly playlist series. It's Friday, so it's time for me to talk about and share with you guys the games I have been playing during the week, give you guys my thoughts and opinions on the titles, whether I think you guys should check them out or not. I would love to hear what games you guys are playing because you guys have given me some awesome ideas on games to check out and play, hearing about the games you guys play. So I really appreciate when you guys share that with me because actually, this second title I'm going to share with you tonight is actually from a couple of you guys have been talking about this series, and it made me want to go through and play it, and that's why I started playing this one. I also appreciate any suggestions you guys have on games you think I should check out, because you guys have recommended some really good games that I have bought for my collection and ones that I have checked out. And then I have a nice growing list of games to check out from either you guys talking about playing them or ones you guys have suggestions. So I really appreciate keep the suggestions coming, as I'm always looking for new games to experience. I may have them in my collection, I may not, and I do like to play games for a variety of consoles, old retro games all the way up to the new modern ones. I've been playing a whole lot of modern consoles lately, my PS4 and Xbox One, but I have dabbled in playing some old Game Boy Advance games and some NES and stuff like that last year. And so I do like to have a variety, so if you have any suggestions, let me know. I've only got two games for you guys this week, as I had another pretty busy work week, but I have squeezed in some more gaming as didn't have to do any overtime this week like I did last week, and then I only got um, worked. I worked tonight, and then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, off Tuesday, work Wednesday. Then I'm on vacation for 8 days. So I'm really looking forward to that, getting a lot of game playing in. But I did get two games in here. First one's for Game Boy Advance, and I actually just picked this up recently, which you guys will see in my next pickups video. I've been after this game for quite some time. Had a really hard time finding it, as it's very difficult to find, and when you do, it's usually expensive. And it was in like immaculate condition, and it came with the manual. It just also it's just hard to find these days. I'm guessing it just got probably a small print run, but it's one I've wanted to check out because I've heard really good things about it, and that is Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, which is awesome on the Game Boy Advance. So this is a port of the console versions, because you can get this on original Xbox, Nintendo GameCube, or PlayStation 2. And I actually have beat it on all three consoles. Absolutely love this game. It's a top-down action RPG, isometric. So if you're a fan of those games, you'll definitely enjoy this. And this is the Game Boy Advance version. So when I heard about it, I was like, oh, I want to check it out because it's kind of cool. And I do have the ROM of it on my modded Wii, so I did play it on the emulator. I'm like, man, I really like this, so I'd want to get a copy for myself. And I was so lucky that I was able to find one at a game store. It's like an hour away from here. I haven't been to it in like 3 or 4 years. And they happened to have this there, and it had the manual, so that was really cool. I did know they had the game because I had the my local stores can look at what their other locations have, and they actually said they had this there for sure. So I was going to go pick it up, and so glad that I did. Unfortunately, online, it's a fairly expensive game. There's not very many copies available that are legitimate on eBay, because I saw a ton of Chinese bootlegs on there for like $5 and $10, $12. Because this goes from between 30 to $60, and even more if you like get it boxed and complete. I saw some over like $600 there if they're brand new, and like a couple $100 for just a complete copy. So very happy that I picked it up. Now it's not, of course, graphics aren't going to be as good as the console version. You can't go from original Xbox and GameCube and PS2 to a Game Boy Advance and expect that you're going to get the same graphics, because it's basically like a Super Nintendo. But they did really well with their limited amount of memory and what they had with a Game Boy Advance, because also you don't have that tiny little screen. I've been playing this on my GameCube with my Game Boy player, and it looks wonderful on the TV, and the music is great, the sound, everything is done really well, and it sounds just like the console ports of these Baldur's Gate games, so it's really cool. I saw a review about it, just remind myself about how the game was, and the guy mentioned that he's like, if you love pen and paper Dungeons and Dragons, you'll really enjoy this game, because it has some of those elements into it as far as how like hit detection and stuff. You don't always hit the enemy. There's kind of like an invisible dice being rolled, whether you're attacking or enemy attacks, and so I kind of like that aspect to the game. So it's really cool. I was a little disappointed though that there is no co-op in it. You know, it'd be cool like if you had like I've seen other Game Boy Advance games where you could hook up two through the link cable and have 2 players. So they were eliminated the 2 player option in this game when the console ones had that, and it also eliminated you being able to play as there's 3 main characters were in the game. There was I think it was an elf, it was a warrior guy, and like a dwarf dude, and you don't have any of those characters to choose from. All you can do is choose as a male guy, and you can either be an archer, you can be a wizard, or you can be like a soldier type thing, so melee attacks and stuff. So you only have those 3 options. You also can't name your character at all, so it is a stripped down version of the console ones, but it's still worth checking out if you got a Game Boy Advance. If you've already beat the original Baldur's Gate game, you'll feel right at home with this because it's pretty much the exact same story. Now, of course, this doesn't have any audio. I haven't noticed any voice audio at all yet, but maybe later in the game you do. And it's just a lot of text reading and stuff. But you have the same characters, the same settings and everything. It's pretty much the exact same game, but like it's the Game Boy Advance port. But it's still worth checking out. Like, man, I'm just thinking to myself, imagine what kind of these games we could have had back on the Super Nintendo days and Sega Genesis days. That would have been cool if they had some of those games like that. Because I love these kind of top-down games. I don't care if they're a little Game Boy or they're on the the newest Xbox Series X or whatever. I just love these kind of top-down games. I've loved them my whole life, and I'm so glad to finally have this. And it's worth checking out. It's cool that you have the main story, but you also have a side quest to do. Of course, like with the these Boulders games, you can upgrade your character the way you want. You can put money, put points into strength, intelligence, charisma, constitution. So you have all the aspects of that to level up your character. You earn experience in your battles, and you can use that experience obviously to level up your character. And you can also unlock abilities. So like being a wizard character, I have magic abilities and you have passive abilities. So it's really cool. There's a lot of customization and a lot of different kind of characters that you can play as. I love playing as a wizard character, so I always play as that. And it's just really cool having the 3 different types to play as, and you can play through the story, which is really cool. Sadly, they did not ever port Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2 to Game Boy Advance, just the first one, so that kind of sucks because I would have loved to play number 2, because actually number 2 was my favorite of the 2 games. Wonderful titles. I definitely think you guys should check out Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance for Game Boy Advance. Now, I do want to let you guys know that it is kind of difficult, especially early on. The control scheme, it does control really well. I definitely recommend going through the little tutorial at the beginning that tells you how to do potions. Like, you have to hold the left bumper button and hit A to do health potions, and then if you hit the left bumper button B, you do your mana potions, because you have mana and health. And if you hit the start button, you get to go into the menu, and it's broken up into 7 different segments, and these tutorials explain like all that. And once you play it a few minutes, you'll get used to playing the game. Controls well though, as far as like fighting. The combat looks really good. Fighting the enemies using magic looks good. And I also like that when you actually equip armor, your character actually changes and shows him equipping the armor. Because there are some games where you'll equip armor and it's just telling you what it is, and you don't ever see any cosmetic change. Like, you put on a green helmet and you don't actually see it. So I like that this, when you put on armor, it actually changes your character's appearance and looks like. So if you put a helmet on, it puts a helmet on you. So I like that little details that they put into the game. There is one little tactic I noticed that's really odd in the game, is if you're in like a dungeon area and there's a doorway, the enemies are like stuck to a certain area they're in. So if there's a room that, like, say there's 2 rats or a spider in, you can actually lure them to the door, stand at the other side of the door, and then just attack them, and they can't hit you. So there's that kind of little aspect to the game. You could kind of, cheat the game a little bit there by exploiting the weakness for it. So if you ever have a really difficult enemy, you can do that. It does have a nice variety of enemies. I'm still fairly early in the game, only playing like an hour so far. I beat a couple of the beginning missions and did some of the side stuff. But I've already run into rats and these monkey-looking creatures and some other skeletons, notable enemies that are in these kind of games. But it's just pretty cool, really fun game. Now, I did hear that it's fairly short. Someone said you can beat it in like 10 hours, but I don't know how fast that person went through the game to beat it in 10 hours. And the way I play games a lot slower and like to explore and stuff, so I might get a lot more hours out of it. But I'll definitely let you guys know. So it's looking like, this will be one of those games I can beat here in a few weeks of playing, a few hours every week, that I should be able to beat it. But definitely, if you guys are a fan of Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, like I said, you played it on the Xbox, the GameCube, or PS2, and you've already beat it, go back through and play the Game Boy Advance version because it's done very well and it's an awesome game. Just be warned, it's kind of expensive to find, and it's not easily found. As a pretty rare game these days, but it's really fun. If you guys get a chance, definitely check it out. And the other one we're going to talk about is for PlayStation 4, and I have been having a blast playing this for the last 2 weeks. Been really getting into it, and that is Yakuza 0 for PlayStation 4. So glad I just picked this up this month as well. It's been one I've been wanting to play for a long time. I played the original Yakuza 1 and 2. I never did actually fully beat them. And I do have Yakuza Kiwami, which is a remake of number 1 on PS4. I still got it, Yakuza Kiwami 2. And then I did buy the Yakuza Remaster Collection, had Yakuza 3, 4, 5 on the PlayStation 4. And then I also bought Yakuza 6. And I also have Yakuza Dead Souls. So I've got a lot of Yakuza games to go through. And I really wanted to start off with 0. I know some people say, oh, you could play through Kiwami, but I wanted to start off with 0, then go with 1 through 6 after that. So glad I checked out. I'll give you guys a little basic idea of what the story is if you guys have never played a Yakuza game. So you play as, there's 2 characters in this game. So you have Kazuma Kiryu, and then Goro Majima is here. So 2 main characters in the series. You get to play as their in their past, and with how they became the characters they are and later in the series. So this is a prequel basically to the series. And so it's 1988 Japan. So Kazuma Kiryu is a junior Yakuza who collects debt, but when a debtor turns up dead, the family's business is threatened and Kiryu finds himself on the wrong end of a bad deal. And then meanwhile, Goro has been exiled to Osaka for disobeying orders. Now working as a manager of the club Grand, he yearns to return home and get his chance with a hit, and gets a chance when a hit is put on the table. So I haven't got to his story yet so far. I've just been playing as Kiryu, but fairly cool. He's my favorite character in the series because he's the main character in the series. But I've always loved his character. He's a badass. So it's really cool seeing him as really young and the early days of being in the series. So I really like that. It's awesome. This has, you have the main story you can go through, but it also has side stuff, side missions you can go through, random encounters with different unique characters that are really cool. There's a porn star in the game that Joel, Cat's Game, whatever, was telling me about, that you can go and watch videos in. I saw that on the map, so it's kind of funny because he made a comment about talking about it, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. And then I was like, oh yeah, that porn store is in the game. And then so that's really cool. There's other things you can find, like you can go bowling. So it's a bowling mini game. I was playing that. I was having fun playing that. There's an Sega arcade in the game where you can play Sega games. I was playing Space Harrier, and then they also had a couple claw machines in there. And I was freaking spending like 25 minutes in there collecting these little dolls and little figures and stuff in the claw machines, like I was doing in real life. I was like addicted to it. It was really cool. They also have pool that you can play. They have darts. They have karaoke where you can actually sing, and it's kind of like a DDR thing where you have to hit the buttons in the right combination. They also have dancing in the game, a little dancing mini game where you move the stick around and hit the buttons at the correct timing, and you get scored and points and stuff. So it does have a whole bunch of little side mini games and stuff. Grand Theft Auto games and stuff, I had those kind of things in. And I know it's not for everybody. Not everybody likes doing that kind of silly stuff, but it's just kind of fun little distractions. You also have lots of stores, different kinds of stores that you can go shopping at and buy items. You have restaurants where you can go and eat at because that stuff actually heals you. This game is very heavily focused on story, so there's a lot of cutscenes. It is voiced, but it's all in Japanese, so definitely having those English subtitles is a must. They didn't do any English dub, which I really like. It keeps that authentic feel. It takes place in Japan, so obviously, like the culture and everything's a lot different than it is here in America. But I've always been fascinated by Japan and Japanese culture and stuff in the Yakuza, so I really love this game. Loving the story so far, and it's awesome. I'm getting a lot of hours into this game, and I would like to 100% it. There's all kinds of stuff to do. There's random characters, like I was mentioned, you can run into and become friends with, and that unlocks other missions and perks and stuff. There's businesses I saw that you can actually unlock, and you can generate revenue and stuff because this game does have yens and money, and you can use that money to upgrade your characters and buy stuff that you need for them. So that's really cool. Um, Apologize, guys. It's just really late here. It's like 3 in the morning. I gotta get to bed here soon, and then when I wake up, I upload this video for you guys, and then I go to work. But just an overall really fun game, really fun series. If you got a PlayStation 4, highly recommend it. I do know that they have recently released these on the Xbox One and Series X. I think they're just digital versions. If they ever do release it physically, I may look into the future of buying them on Xbox. But it just truly is a PlayStation game that should be played on a PlayStation console. So I've been having a blast playing this on my PlayStation 4. Really fun. The combat in this is a real-time combat. It's a button masher, but you also can do combos and stuff by hitting certain attack buttons. You have different kind of attack abilities, so like different stances. So like I have a strong like attack air thing where I can pick up items and punch guys, but then I also have like a super fast one, and then there's one where you can also use items that you find and weapons and stuff. Like you can equip a gun, but I haven't shot anybody. I was just beating people with it, and then what's really funny is I picked up this giant like fish cannon thing, and you just whack guys with a giant fish. And there's different weapons and stuff you can find to equip. You also have items you can equip too that could affect your stats and give you more health or take less damage and stuff. And then you also have abilities you can unlock in those fighting stances and level those up, leveling yourself up. And you'll have attacks really stronger. You'll recover your heat gauge because you have a heat gauge that powers up as you beat guys down. And then if you grab guys and hit the triangle button, you can actually do super moves, is what I call them. I don't know what the actual name is for him, but it's really cool because sometimes he'll take a guy, throw him in the wall, and punch and beat the shit out of him. You can take a whole bunch of their health off. One of my favorite things to do is if there's a car nearby, you can actually grab a guy, you slam his head into the car, open the door, then you slam it on his head, and then you kick the door into him and take him out. There was another one where you picked up a guy and did a suplex onto a guardrail. It's just funny and crazy because all these people are like bleeding. It's like they would be dead, but at the end of the battle, the character's like, "Oh, I'm sorry for attacking you. I'll never do this again," and then they're gone. And they have a variety of enemies. Like you run into ones that are called Men in Black, so guys in suits, and you have Yakuza guys you fight, and you have like thieves, and you got thugs and hoodlums and drunk guys that are running around. And so as you run around the city, because it's open world enough to where like there's a big segment of the city you can run around, and you'll run into random characters, and sometimes the random enemies will fight you. So it's kind of like an RPG where you run into random battles and stuff, and then it turns you were stuck into like a battle grid area within the city, and you can't leave it until you defeat the enemies. And every time you do defeat them, though, you unlock money. So I definitely recommend grinding a little bit in the beginning, because as you progress further in the story, the enemies get stronger, have more health, hit harder, and so it's nice to have your character leveled up. So that's what I've been doing, is really exploring the city, just checking out the sights and sounds, and leveling up my character, and then just running into random characters and doing side stuff as I move the story along, because I always like to do that with games. Is I don't like to push them too far because you might miss side quests. But the nice thing about this is you can beat the game and then go through and do all the side stuff that you had missed. You don't have to worry about losing something for access to forever and having to start the whole game over. You don't have to do that in this game, so that is awesome. And there is a post game content and stuff in the game that you can unlock, like different suits and stuff, and other things you can explore once you beat the main story I was reading about. So that's really cool. Highly recommend you guys check out Yakuza Zero. The whole Yakuza series is amazing. But if you only ever play one, definitely check out Yakuza Zero or Yakuza Kiwami. Both are wonderful titles for the PlayStation 4 that you guys definitely should play. If you have a Sony PlayStation 4, you should own this for your console. It's awesome. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. I know not everybody's into these hack and slash, like beat 'em up type games and the silly side quests and stuff in it, but definitely think you should give it a try and check it out. So we'll do our quick little recap we do each week. I talked about Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance for Game Boy Advance. This is a wonderful handheld port of the console version. It's a little dumbed down. The graphics aren't as nice. You can only play as the male character, but you can play as a different class. Whether you want to be a wizard or an archer or a warrior. Um, there's no voice acting in it at all that I've noticed. Just text reading. Maybe there's a few voice samples maybe later in the game. I heard it's about a 10-hour game. Does control really well. So if you've played any of the top-down isometric games in the past, you'll feel right at home as soon as you play it. Definitely recommend checking out the tutorials in the beginning just to get yourself familiar with playing the game. But once you play a little bit, it's just like second nature and you're good to go. Has a great story, pretty much the same story as the console version, but it's a different it's like a dumbed down version of the main game, but it's still a fantastic one worth playing through, and I'm looking forward to beating it, so definitely check it out. And then we also talked about Yakuza 0, wonderful game in the Yakuza series. Does have some silly things to it, the story, some serious stuff, some sad stuff, happy stuff, so it's really good because it is heavily story focused. There are a lot of cutscenes. There is some action and fighting and stuff. You get to do a lot of that too, but there's also a lot of story, which I love story in games, and this is heavily story-focused game, so that's awesome. Pushes the narrative and everything of the story for you to really feel like you're in the Yakuza and stuff, and just like the experience Japanese culture, which is a lot different than ours. Definitely recommend you guys check it out. So let me know if you guys have played Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance for Game Boy Advance or Yakuza 0 for the PlayStation 4. I love them. Definitely think you guys should check them out. Would love to know your guys' opinions on them. I would like to hear what games you guys are playing because that gives me great ideas on new games to check out. And if you have any suggestions on a game you think I should play, let me know, as you guys have been suggesting some really wonderful games lately, and I really, really do appreciate it. You guys take care, have an amazing day, and Sleepy will see you next time.